Hey guys, welcome back to the Becoming series, exploring the deep truths and the principles that will enable you become everything you were created to be and to do. So let's talk about your brand, right? Um, by no stretch of the imagination am I a brand consultant, right, or an image artist or one of those people. But I do know one or two things about branding. Um, and of course, as usual, I'm relating anything I talk about to our pivotal concept, which is becoming. So, what is your brand? What is your brand all about? For most of us, what we assume the brand to be is that thing that we see outside the business premises. The logo that is written so beautifully. Or what we see on social media, right? Our beautiful Facebook or Instagram adverts and all that. Um, and then the constant repetition of all of that, on the radio, on TV, on the internet, and everything, when you're constantly in the eye of the public, we say that that person or that company has a strong brand. But what really is a brand? Um, I like to say that the brand is really not what we think it is, right? Although it includes some aspect of it. I'll relate it to the concept of the iceberg or the iceberg. I'm sure you know what an iceberg is, right? That stationary, huge block of ice that is embedded in water, typically in the very cold regions, North Pole, the South Pole, etc. Now, when you see an iceberg, if you're in a ship, for instance, when you see an iceberg, what you typically see is only about 10% of the entirety of the iceberg. The bulk of the iceberg is actually submerged. It is underwater, so you don't get to see it. And I think that really is what branding is all about. What we tend to see externally are the optics. How beautiful the building looks, the beautiful scripting, the beautiful imagery, and all of that, social media presence, everything. But what really makes the brand tick is actually the things that go on underneath that nobody else sees. So, for example, if you ask me the name of my company and I said that it was Premier Consults, I'm trying to establish something. The word premier, right, really means first, number one. I'm trying to establish that um, for consulting businesses, right, you should look no further than me because I'm supposed to be what number one. But how about if you came to my company and all you got was really crappy service? What would you think at the end of the day? You wouldn't think it was premier, right? You would think it was crap, despite the name. So it's not really the name and it's not really marketing. It is actually the character of the company because we're using company as context, right? And it calls to mind, if you are a student of literature, and if you read Romeo and Juliet, there's this particular line that Juliet said. She said, what's in a name? That which we call a rose, by any other name would smell just as sweet, right? And she was lamenting the fact that her folks and her family were against Romeo and his family, all because of the name. That if Romeo had come from a different family, he would still be the same person that he was, right? And it really goes to say that most of us focus on the optics, and we're not looking at the character of the thing. And another example is that if you listen to Dr. Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech, there's this really epic line in that speech that says, or that goes, "I have a dream, I have a dream that one day my four little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of that character," which again really speaks to my mindset about branding. It's not really what you see, it's about who you are on the inside, right? So if you're a business person, whatever you are, really, I think everybody has a brand. A brand is what people remember you for. It's what people know you for, not what you say your name is, not the looks, right, not the optics. It's really what people know you for. So if you have beautiful optics, but at the back end it's all about crappy service, crappy products, that is what your brand worth will constitute. right? So don't focus on yeah, those things are important. The marketing, the optics, they're all important. But the real core of the brand is what you are on the inside. And speaking to becoming, as we become ourselves, we seek to establish a strong presence, in our local community, international community, whatever it is. We want people to know us for something, right? But that thing must really have the core essence of who we are. Otherwise, no matter what else we do, it is that thing we're going to be remembered for, good or bad. So when thinking brand, yes, do the marketing, yes, do the optics, yes, make everything beautiful, but ensure that the majority of your focus is on the 90% of the iceberg, right? Not on the 10% of the optics. Hope that helps.